old friends can't go. Listen up. In this video, we're going to discuss and talk about the meaning behind being exactly who you are and then why your reality tends to pull you back so much when you actually start to make change. Let me ask you this question, right? If I told you that I could grant you all your desires, every car, every woman, anything you wanted, right? But you can never have true happiness. You can never be truly at peace. You could never bear children. You could never be able, right, to truly step into the frequency of love, whether that be self-love, whether that be love for someone else, whether that be the shared love of a companionship, right? Whether that be a love of a child, whatever the case may be. If all your desires were granted today, but your soul was the exchange, would you make that equivalent? And the ironic thing about this is the people that we grow up with, the people that we come up with, the people that we stay down with, right? When God starts to elevate us, when our frequency starts to uplift, when we start to do things that are not within the same routine, that are not low vibrational, that are not pushing us and pulling us down, we always tend to get pushed back, right? And the ironic thing about this is it's always for your betterment. You say you want to be fit. Now you got to get in that gym and really get the work in. You say you want to be disciplined. Now all of a sudden you're getting adversity. You're getting trial and tribulation. At first you was just coasting, right? Heavy is the head that wears the crown, because more responsibility requires more discernment, meaning your decision making has to improve, right? Let's use King Solomon for example. King Solomon was one of the wisest, probably one of the most richest, not even probably was, right? One of the most inherited, you know? He asked God for these things and they were bestowed upon him. Ask and you shall receive. But the ironic thing about all of this is where was his foundation? Right? Where was his stability, his discipline? It was in God. And as soon as he turned his back on God, what happened to him? He started worshiping women, right? He started having these entities around him, probably Jezebel spirits, that weren't conducive to his development and growth. You can see that in people on a day-to-day basis, bro. You go around somebody who's focused on themselves, who's working on themselves, who's locked in, who's not chasing women, who's extremely centered around their life and what they need to be doing for themselves. They got a different type of aura with them. They got a different type of energy around them. They got a different type of frequency. And that shit is intimidating to weak-minded people. That shit is intimidating to people that want things to be easy, that don't want to go through the adversity, that don't want to walk through the fire, that want to just be nothing in the grand scheme of things, right? You're watching this video because there's something inside of you, no matter how big or small, that feels that your calling is near, that feels that you're not normal, that feels that everything that you do on a day-to-day basis, whether it be putting you in an outcast limelight, whether it be maybe off-putting to some, maybe it be very standoffish, the things that you are doing are getting you closer to one, yourself, to God, more in alignment, and last but not least is putting you in a frequency of love. When I started this YouTube channel when I was 18 years old, bro, for like maybe a year or 2 or 3 years, bro, I would just think I needed to help everybody. I just thought I needed to be like Messiah, you know what I'm saying? And I think I needed to have like, someone told me about myself, and they said you have a savior soul, and had to sit with that for a while. See, like sometimes when you hear certain things, you gotta sit with them for a while. You can't just take these things and just move on. It's okay to digest certain topics. It's okay to digest certain emotions, certain feelings. It's okay to digest certain letdowns, right? Certain blessings, no matter what it is, right? Because why? When you're able to sit with yourself, you become dangerous. When you're able to think on things and not just make actions instantaneous, right? Because everything right now is fast, you become more centered. You become more aligned. And what happens is now you're starting to balance your life, right? When you start getting disciplined and you in the gym and you eating healthy and you eat something fucked up, the world doesn't end because you have a balanced equilibrium, right? Which is why when I make videos, I'm not telling you to be perfect. I'm not telling you that when you make mistakes, that means that you should be crucified and put on a nail. No, you're human. You're gonna make millions of more mistakes. You're human. You're going to fuck up. You're human. You're going to look at things from a certain perspective right now, and that perspective will widen with time. The perspective will change with time. The way I think right now at 21 isn't the way I'm gonna think at 31. The way I think right now at 21 isn't gonna be the way I think at 30 or 24 or 25 or 26. My perspective is gonna widen and change. So the moral of this video, your friends, family, old environments, whatever the case may be, right? They can't go with you to where you're going because God would not allow them. Let me ask you this question, right? Have you been feeling like your homie that you grew up with, you play sports with, yo, day one, I'm talking about this like might be your right-hand man, right? You may feel the calling on him. You may feel the spirit on him. You may feel that he's a genuine person, but he's caught in the matrix right now, which is what? Partying, drinking, lusting, right? And the thing about this thing is it's so detrimental because the society programs us to believe that everything in alignment with that is perfectly fine, right? When in all actuality, it's blinding you from what you really need to be doing. See, like drinking and smoking and lusting and all of these things, it's not just the fact of the matter of what I'm saying. It's like, bro, it's the it's like if I'm fighting somebody and we're in a boxing ring and somebody put a hand over me and I get knocked the fuck out, whose fault was that, right? So it's like if you're aware of the things that you're doing and you're knowing, right, that you're doing the right thing, but someone else is unaware of that, whether if it's ignorance or not, you gotta let them go, bro. That was my biggest thing. Like, that was my biggest crutch in life, bro, was feeling like I had to save everybody. I had to save my homies. I had to save my peers. I even had to save people I never met a day in my life, bro, because I felt like I had a calling. And you know what I'm saying? That's still the case. But what I've realized with maturity and time away, which is important too, you're human just like everybody else. You got a reset button just like everybody else, right? And if you really tapped in and you really know yourself, you know that most of the time you want to be away more than often, right? And it's not because you're just a monk. It's not just because you're self-isolating or self-sabotaging. To be honest, it's because you know that you need that time to come into the world with something new. You need that time alone to bring new perspectives, new perceptions, right? New ideas, to get those downloads, to receive these things from God, right? And if you in a mix every day, if you moving fast every day, if you chasing money and you chasing these things every day, right? And all of these things are fleeting, you're going to wake up one day and be like, holy shit, What if I would have just stayed focused and took my time? What if I would have just stayed patient and had faith in God? Let alone have faith in myself, because everything I do is powered through God and I'm just a channel. Literally, we just vessels. So for everybody that's watching this video right now, bro, ask yourself this question. It's like, do I want to wake up 5 to 6 years from now with all the knowledge I have, with the perspective I have, with the gift, whether if it's not knowledge or wisdom or whatever the case may be, maybe it's just common sense. Maybe it's just creativity, right? Maybe it's just that discernment that I was talking about this video, last video, and the previous video. And the reason I keep bringing that up is because when you tap into discernment, a lot of things become simplified. When you tap into discernment, that's like having 1 billion years of knowledge. That's like having 1 billion years of wisdom, because it's the ultimate form of intuition. And when you can make your decisions off of intuition, you start realizing that things become less complicated. Life becomes less complicated. Life becomes less hard. It really becomes very much simple, ABC. And the thing about this is when you start realizing it and you start trying to give that perspective on the external, it confuses people. This is why I say, bro, you have to tap in. You got to lock in. You got to take time away from social media. Even take time away from the things that you love to do, because it's like you got to bring something back, right? You have to come back with something new. You have to come back as the version of yourself that can bring the authenticity, right? You have to come back as the version of yourself that can be real with you and others about your shortcomings, about your successes, about your ups, about your downs, right? But when you're in a crisis, your nervous system is unregulated and you're doing these different things that ain't authentic, bro, it's gonna pour into the content. It's gonna pour into your music. It's gonna pour into the things that you're doing, right? Trying to escape the rat race, trying to escape your reality, trying to escape your surroundings, right? Because you're running and the universe knows you're running, right? And the universe can align with your feelings. It gives you what you deserve every time. Doesn't give a fuck about how you feel. It gives you exactly what you deserve in this current reality, in this current lifetime. So last but not least, bro, I want you to sit with this shit. If where I'm at right now is somewhere that I know I need to be, maybe it's not where I want to be. If the people I'm around right now are people that I've been around, but maybe not the people that I know I should be around, right? If what I'm eating right now, if what I'm consuming right now, if what I'm seeing right now isn't what I ideally want to see in the next 5 to 6 years, but this is where I'm at right now, because appreciating where you're at is important too, right? Don't misconstrue that. Appreciate where you're at, respect where you're at, take in where you're at, right? But envision yourself, visualize. In a meditation, just close your eyes and just see yourself, whether if it's you in a mansion, right? Whether if it's you with financial literacy, whether if it's you giving back, right? Whether if it's you living fully in your purpose, whether if it's you being off the grid, whatever it is, right? See yourself at your highest height and go a little bit further than that. Like if you're at a mountain and you climbing up to the top, try to jump a little bit, right? And think about, what is that ideal version of myself that I'm looking at, right? Fuck ideal. What is that version of myself that I know that I already am, that I'm going towards? What is he thinking about? What did he do? What is he dreaming about? What is his actions, right? What is his decision-making processes, right? And when you think about that shit, when you visualize and when you meditating, bro, just sit with that shit. Don't overthink it. Don't overload your nervous system. Don't start getting like too down or too upset or even just too excited. Just sit with whatever comes to mind. It could be you a fucking like mopping a fucking floor at Food Line. Like, bro, whatever it is that you see that's your highest height possible of human existence, whatever it is, everybody's thing is different. It doesn't have to be one-dimensional. See yourself there and sit with that picture. Sit with that cinematic idea, right? Sit with that shit and ask yourself, what do I need to do to get here? What do I need to be there? What needs to be removed for me to be here? Not comparing yourself to Instagram, not comparing yourself to your past, not comparing yourself to your friends, not comparing yourself to your environment. What do I need to get to where I'm going? Because at the end of the day, you're leaving this bitch alone. At the end of the day, you're going to die alone. At the end of the day, bro, you can't help anybody until you help yourself. I love y'all, man. Out. Appreciate the love. Appreciate everything, man. You already know how we coming. I'm gone.